Welcome to Startup DNA, where we look at the human side of the startup journey. Joining me now is Phil Ho, co-founder and CEO of STR8 Industries, and also Bilal Awad, co-founder and chief product officer, STR8. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, STR8 Industries. Welcome to Startup DNA.
Thank you, Anthony. Happy to be here.
Tell me a little bit about the company. It was in stealth mode for some time, but now it is full-fledged STR8 Industries. What do you do?
Yes. We're very happy to come out of stealth today during Computex, right? One of the largest computing show in the world, right? Especially here in Taiwan. So STR8 Industries, we're focusing on the maritime autonomy, maritime robotics platform. We focus across 3 different levels. So the hardware, the vessel, the software, the autonomy, the user interface, and obviously the computing as well. So we're building here, we're based here in Taiwan, right? So we have our operations across the island. We operate between the US and Taiwan, with Bilal being based out of the States. And very excited to be here with you, Anthony.
So you're building here in Taiwan, and how did that come about? Why did you decide to do that in Taiwan?
We're building robotics platform, right? It's all about computing. At the end of the day, as I said, we're building unmanned surface vessels, which are basically drone boats. But it's all about computing. It's all about supply chain, and it's all about the ability to ramp up production across, yes, the hardware, which is the boat, but also across anything that fits inside of the vessel. So leveraging the advanced industrial base that is here in Taiwan across multiple industries, shipbuilding, electronics, computing, sensors, right? Together with the intellectual capital that Taiwan has, electronic engineering, robotics engineering, autonomy engineering, some of the top talent that you see anywhere in the world are here in Taiwan, and this is why it just makes sense to be leveraging the all-in-one ecosystem for us to be able to build from A to Z.
How did you guys get into this? You founded the company together a year and a half ago. What's your background?
My background, so I've been in the hardware technology startup environment for almost 10 years now. Prior joining an early stage startup out of London, a US company based out of San Francisco, expanding into Europe, really building from scratch. 10, 15 people in the office, and you just roll up your sleeves, get the job done. You have a laptop in front of you and not much resources behind you, but you just go out there and make it done. So once I think you catch that maybe entrepreneurial bug, right? This is something that you want to stay in. Now, building STR8, there is a mission behind it also. For me personally, moving to Taiwan 3 years ago, really with the mission to contribute to deep tech ecosystem out here, but also building capabilities that this side of the world needs. So we founded the company around a year ago. We've been very fortunate to work with amazing partners, investors across the US and Taiwan already, some pioneers in the unmanned space. You can look it up online, right? Very successful people. So we are very excited to be here and come out of stealth during Computex is a great achievement for us.
Bilal, your background is a little different from Phil's. Can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background, I spent over 20 years in the US Navy as a surface warfare officer. And so Phil and I actually met, funny story, a few years back. We were in San Francisco at a wedding.
Oh.
Wedding was a little boring. Yeah, at a wedding, yeah, of all things,
a little
right?
bit different.
Yeah. Wedding was a little boring, but you meet good people, and we were hanging out at the bar. We just had a drink and kicked it off. And from there, we just kept in touch. And so he saw that I was retiring and reached back out to me. And so together we formulated and worked and put our heads down and went through STR8 over the last year in stealth, and happy now to be out of stealth.
How does a conversation like this start at a wedding?
I think if it was at 2 a.m., probably we wouldn't be here today. We remember the conversations we had, right? But no, there is similarities in Bilal's background and experience with some of both my grandparents. So actually this was kind of the connection and the very easy kind of pickup line to break the ice as well.
And so you're running this company as co-founders from 2 different locations. You're based in Virginia Beach in the US on the East Coast, and you're mostly in Taiwan. You mentioned dual use. So the civilian part, I'm quite curious about that. What are the types of applications? What sort of vessels could we possibly see your products in?
So to your point on operating across different geographies, right? Again, I think this is where the efficiencies comes into the picture in the day-to-day operation, because you basically run 24/7 operations, right? And then again, there's benefits to having industrial base here in Taiwan, in this side of the world, and there are benefits to also operate out of the state. So this is really, really important for us in a sense and in the way we operate on a day-to-day basis. Now, your second question on the commercial applications. This vessel, around 7 meters, it's been designed for high performance, right? So top speed, around 55 knots, high payload capacity, right? 330 kilos, and then high sea states as well. So can operate around the waters here in Taiwan, around this side of the world, but around other type of maritime environment conditions as well. Now, in terms of the applications, this can be used for data collection, right?
Data collection.
The vessel is out there collecting data, let's say for a private company doing offshore energy platforms, right? It can be used for site inspection as well, remote inspection. It can also be used for harbor security and more general maritime security applications too.
So that's all accomplished through our ability to have a modular platform.
Okay.
We have incorporated baked in modularity throughout the vessels so that the end user can really plug and play whatever need that they have for that day's requirement. And so by doing so and using that modularity, we've created a capability that's very broad and that applies to many end users.
So the ocean is one of the hardest environments, right? Because you don't have lane lines on the floor, you don't have traffic signals, you don't have a consistent environment that you can always recognize, right? And train your model based out of. So autonomy model functions, let's say, across three things. First, integration of sensors, different type of sensors from AIS, radar, optical, RF sensors as well. Integrating that into a perception model, so you know basically what's around your environment. Fusing this into your own existing model, so then you basically turn this boat into a drone, right? So he understands what's around it, which then allows it to decide on what to do, right? Based on the operations that you want to perform, the destination that you're going to, the speed, or anything that the operator, the end user, has basically told the platform to do. If you push that to the next level, then the platform decides on its own as well, right? And then we use different framework to actually decide what's autonomous, what sits, let's say, on the operator side. So we use a framework across, let's say, 3 lenses. The first one is basically consequence. The highest the consequence of a bad decision, the more supervision sits in the loop. So let's say routine navigation can be autonomous. Now, as soon as you start engaging or interacting with vessels, other vessels in a significant way, more supervision in the loop. So that's number one. Number 2 is reversibility. Anything that's reversible, the vessel can do on its own and the operator can correct afterwards anything, right? Anything that's reversible or irreversible, there is more input from the operator. So the third one is connectivity. So if the communication link is strong, then obviously you can have supervision, connection, and communication between the end user and your platform, right? If the communication link is not that strong, then obviously more autonomy needs to sit at the vessel level, right? So basically you need to build your autonomy so that it adapts to the environment in which it evolves. So consequence, reversibility, and connectivity. That's the framework we use for working on our autonomy.
What would you like to see to be able to tell yourself, this is where we want to be, and this is where validates the work that you're putting into STR8 Industries? That sort of time frame, 2 years, 3 years.
So I think I won't comment on time frame. However, I will say that we are obsessed with our end user. Right? We are obsessed with the operator that will use our products. And so a continuous feedback loop, and when we get a validation from that end user, right, that they are not only happy with the product, but they like the capabilities, they like what it's producing for them, and we can continue that loop, I think that's where we've hit.
Who could that end user be? What would that organization or company or partner look like?
We work with many end users, right? But for example, as mentioned previously by Phil, for example, if we had a harbor security boat, right?
Harbor security.
For example, right? And if we were using harbor security, the end user is accomplishing their requirements for security within that harbor, and we are working with them to provide that constant loop. That validating effort right there would be where we wanted it.
We are very excited to be here already. What we have achieved as a team, lean, efficient team over the last 12 months is very amazing, and we're very proud of what we've done, right? We turned basically a mission company into a fully operational company. We turned conceptual design into hardware, right? We also integrated autonomy into it, right? So today what we have achieved is already a great success and a great milestone for the company. Now it's continuing engagement with end users, because end users feedback, as Bilal mentioned, obsession about our end users. The motto is ship fast and get feedback. So we can implement any feedback we get. We put the vessel, the technology in the hands as many end users as possible. Turn that to improve the product, but then also that clear signal that the direction that we are currently on as a company, we see the strong demand signals across different stakeholders and across different geographies as well. So we're very excited to continue building here in Taiwan, growing the team across different geographies. And thank you again for the time.
Congratulations, by the way, on winning the IC Taiwan Grand Challenge, and all the best this afternoon in your pitch. All the best in the road ahead.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you.